Hello, and welcome to Now with More Cats Knitting. I'm Bradley, and today I will be demonstrating the longtail and alternating longtail cast-ons using the thumb method. I have tied a yellow yarn and a pink yarn together so you can more easily tell what is happening with each side. The pink represents the tail yarn and the yellow represents the working yarn connected to the ball. I will start by demonstrating the longtail cast-on. The first step is to create a slip knot leaving a long tail. How long of a tail will vary by project, but if you are unsure, it is best to round up. For this method, it is easiest to hold your needle perpendicular to your body. The first step in creating a cast-on stitch is to loop the tail end around your thumb. You will then slide the loop and your thumb over your needle. While keeping your thumb in place, you will wrap your working yarn around the back and to the front of your needle with your other hand. You will then slip the tail yarn looped around your thumb over the working yarn and the tip of the needle and pull the tail yarn tight. Let's try that again. Loop the tail yarn around your thumb, slip the thumb and the loop over your needle, wrap the working yarn around the back to the front of the needle, slip the loop over the working yarn and the tip of the needle, pull the tail yarn tight. You can see here that the working yarn is creating the loops and therefore using more yarn than the tail yarn that is creating the edge. Let's see that again with an easier mnemonic. Loop, over, around, over, pull. 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 And there you have it, a longtail cast-on using the thumb method. Now I will demonstrate the alternating longtail cast-on using the thumb method. You may use an alternating longtail cast-on to make a ribbed edge. This is not always necessary, save for hats, but I prefer it for tubes of ribbing so that the cast-on and cast-off edges look the same. I will be demonstrating a 2x2 ribbing pattern, but it can be adjusted for any ribbed pattern you would like to emulate. It is the same as the traditional longtail cast-on that I just showed you, but you alternate what each yarn is doing based on the ribbing pattern. The slip knot will emulate a traditional longtail cast-on stitch. Since this is a 2x2 pattern, we need another traditional stitch. So loop the tail yarn around your thumb, slip the thumb and the loop over your needle, wrap the working yarn around the back to the front of the needle, slip the loop over the working yarn and the tip of the needle, and pull the tail yarn tight. Now that I have two traditional stitches, I need to make two alternating stitches. This time, you will loop the working yarn around your other thumb, slip the thumb and the loop over your needle, wrap the tail yarn around the back to the front of the needle, slip the loop over the tail yarn and the tip of the needle, and pull the working yarn tight. Since you are now doing more movements with your non-dominant hand, it may feel a little awkward, but rest assured it is the exact same movements. Let's make another stitch. Loop the working yarn around your thumb. Slip the thumb and the loop over your needle. Wrap the tail yarn around the back to the front of the needle. Slip the loop over the tail yarn and the tip of the needle. Pull the working yarn tight. Now we have a singular 2x2 alternating longtail cast-on repeat. Let's add some more using the fun mnemonic from before. Loop, over, around, over, pull. Loop, over, around, over, pull, switch, loop, over, around, over, pull, loop, over, around, over, pull. Now I'm going to add one more repeat, so we have 12 stitches. As you can see here, the tail and the working yarn are alternating on which is creating the loop and which is creating the edge, so you are in fact using the same amount of yarn from each. It should be noted that this will require about double the tail length of a traditional long-tail cast-on. And there you have it. Now you should be able to create a long-tail cast-on and an alternating long-tail cast-on using the thumb method. Be sure to like and subscribe for more cat knitting content. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Bradley, and this is Now with More Cats Knitting.